The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization defines sustainable diets as those diets with low environmental impacts which contribute to food and nutrition security and to the healthy life of present and future generations. Sustainable diets are protective and respectful of biodiversity and ecosystems. They are culturally acceptable, they are accessible, economically fair and affordable, nutritionally adequate, safe, and healthy, while optimizing natural and human resources. Food is a major source of degradation of water, soil, and biodiversity. Food sustainability is an urgent matter that depends on collaborative efforts from governments, the public and private sectors, and from individuals. Supply and demand works both ways. A shift in food production depends on a shift in our diet. What's good for the planet is good for us too. In the United States today, we are nearly eating 4 times the amount we did in 1950. In 1950, we had a population of 150 million Americans. Today, we have a population of over 320 million Americans, and in order to feed our population, we have to raise over 10 billion animals for consumption. 1 in 5 children go to bed hungry. 48.8 million Americans are food insecure. Many people don't realize that food production places an enormous demand upon our natural resources, with agriculture alone responsible for up to 30% of global greenhouse gas emissions, with almost half caused by livestock production, and 1/3 of our crops produced go to livestock feed. So this creates an ethical dilemma. Feed people to stave off hunger, or feed animals to keep up with the high demand of an Americanized diet. Food choices we make every day have a profound impact on not only our own health, but on the health of our environment. Each time you decide to purchase and consume food, you are making a choice about what foods will be served in market, on the shelves, or in restaurants. Today, I would like to focus our main sustainable efforts towards individual sustainable diets. What you as an individual can do to create a more sustainable environment. The first step, think about your food choices, what you eat, and where you spend your money. You don't have to change your entire diet. When you can, think and buy locally. The average fruit and vegetable travels nearly 1,000 miles before it reaches your plate, which increases travel time, more packaging, and definitely decreases sustainability. Whether a local farmer is growing organically or is growing ecologically or conventionally, no matter the case, those people are producing locally, and the money that you are spending will recirculate back into your community. When you spend $100 in your community, more than twice the amount of your money stays local. The second step, prioritize plants. If Americans ate the recommended fruit and vegetable levels, U.S. farmers would grow much more of these foods. Vegetables, fruits, and nuts currently account for only 2% of U.S. crop acreage. By contrast, nearly 60% is devoted to cereal grains and seeds grown primarily for the production of edible oils. Changes in demand for meat and dairy products would have significant implications for how much grain U.S. farmers grow. The greatest use of corn and soybeans include fuel, livestock feed, and ingredients such as high fructose corn syrup, which is used in highly processed food with very low nutrient value. Only 10% of the grain grown in the U.S. is directly used for human consumption. A more diversified landscape produces a healthier mix of crops and livestock for local and regional markets. The positive effects are numerous, including benefits for the environment, better nutrition, health for consumers, and improved local economies in farming areas. The third step, a decrease in meat consumption. Livestock production, including meat, milk, and eggs, uses 1/3 of the world's fresh water and accounts for 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions. 1 single pound of beef requires 1,800 gallons of water before it reaches your plate. Greenhouse gases are also a major factor. Meat production produces significantly more greenhouse gas emissions than vegetable production. Beef produces 41%, cattle milk production 9%, pig meat 9%, and poultry meat and eggs 8%. This is not to say that livestock does not have a place on the planet. Meat consumption provides vital micronutrients that many plant-based proteins cannot, but consuming at a normal rate is something that Americans don't do. Well-managed livestock within integrated farming systems can help to care for the land while producing good quality meat and dairy products. The World Resource Institute is working with companies to include menu items such as blended mushroom burgers. In the United States, given that about 1 billion beef burgers are sold annually, removing 30% of beef from a burger and replacing it with mushrooms would be equivalent to removing 2.3 million cars off the U.S. roads. The fourth step, be mindful of your food choices. Buy just enough and reduce food waste. U.S. residents wasted $218 billion worth of food in 2017. The average American wastes 400 pounds of food per year. Simply by wasting less food, we use significantly lower fossil fuels and energy. Growing, processing, and transporting food all use fossil fuel energy through farm and processing equipment and inputs such as fertilizer. 40% of the food we produce is not consumed. The USDA's 2015 Dietary Guidelines for Americans are the foundation of nutrition policy and guide more than $80 billion in federal spending. Recent attempts have been made to incorporate sustainability into the development of these guidelines. However, the sustainability of the 2015 guidelines remain unclear. Research has not yet assessed the environmental impacts of the distinct healthy patterns recommended by the policy. So until more research can be done, I ask you, how can you be more sustainable in your daily life through diet? How can you as a dietitian encourage the population you serve to be more sustainable, whether in clinical, community, or in food service? If every American chose to cut out meat from their diets only 1 day per week, it would be equivalent to freeing up 1.6 billion acres of land currently dedicated to growing animal feed, an area that is twice the size of India. So I leave you with that. We have a responsibility as eaters to think about our actions and their consequences as we participate in an ever more globalized food system. Thanks for listening.